and Marxism. And the results are that in one society, it led to economic ruin and physical destruction of the people. In the other society, the free markets led to prosperity and wealth expansion. So this is not a new science that we have to figure out if the Marxist model is going to work in America. We know it's inappropriate. We know it doesn't work. We know it's disastrous. But my film, Dreams from My Father, unravels the whole Obama story because he has spent years misdirecting people that he's a uniter who's going to bring people together because his father was a goat herder and therefore he's going to be this great savior. Well, in fact, people voted for him because they said, well, he has an inspiring family story. I want to vote for this guy. And they liked that Obama background story. But the reality is he has a deeply, deeply disturbing family background of a father who was a Communist Party propagandist, a Soviet agent, and a Marxist who indoctrinated Obama. And his mother was involved with Davis, and he's hidden this as well. So more and more people are seeing this film, and we thank INFOWARS.com, and people should go to their website to purchase the film. And please watch this, and you'll understand the whole history. Everybody says, finally, you put the pieces together, and we can understand that when Obama says fundamentally transforming America, he means eliminating the middle class and holding on to power for a Marxist elite.
Right. Now let's go into some of the, I guess, the media blackout that has accompanied your film, because you would think people would want to go, hey, let's at least vet this information. Let's put it out there. Let's look at it, and let's make, some educated decisions for ourselves. But what we're seeing, total media blackout. I don't find your stuff anywhere except on WorldNet Daily, maybe a couple other conservative websites, INFOWARS.com. You were actually at the press club in D.C. giving a speech. How well did that go? I mean, you were telling people, look, you got a Pulitzer right here if you just put out this information.
Exactly. I was at the National Press Club. I addressed the mainstream media. They were there, Washington Post, Newsweek. A lot of these guys were all there. And I reminded them of something called the journalist creed. Journalist creed is like the Hippocratic Oath for journalists. It says that journalists must be fair, they're trustees for the public, that there's a single standard of truth, that suppression of the news is indefensible. So I read them their own journalist creed, which was written on the wall in the lobby in bronze, and I explained that if all the doctors decided not to pay attention to the Hippocratic Oath, everybody would get sick. So I said that because they are not adhering to the journalist creed of honesty, that we're all becoming infected with Marxism, that they are suppressing the news and they've been defending Obama's false narrative. And it was inexcusable and indefensible that the public looks to the media to report the truth. And if they don't hear the truth, they assume that what Obama is telling them must be true. So this is why it's so important for the media to be an independent force, unafraid to tell the truth. Unfortunately, the media has become corrupt. They've become ideologically connected to the administration. Or they may just be somehow too embarrassed to admit how badly they didn't do their job before, and maybe it's too hard for them to admit. Whatever their motivation, it is indefensible, and I told them this at the National Press Club, and you can see my press conference as well on the obamasrealfather.com website.
Right. And so what's going on in Ohio? You guys have basically bought a bunch of these copies that you're giving out to these swing states, Ohio being one of them. Tell us about your plan there where you're trying to get the movie into the hands of people before this election.
Well, we did send out several 100,000 copies nationwide, including Ohio, to try to, as a really publicity measure, to try to get people on the street, on the ground, as Obama says, from the ground up, from the bottom up, to start talking about the film and calling their media and talking to the representatives about this shocking information. It should be the #1 Pulitzer Prize winning story of the young century, like Watergate. It's like, oh my God, this guy told us he was somebody else and we voted for him. So several 100,000 have gone out. We've sold many thousands, and we're hoping, obviously, to sell many more. In InfoWars, you can buy the DVD. And we've gotten tremendous response, and typically when someone sees the film, they want to show it to someone else. So it is a shocking narrative that the First Amendment, where there's free speech and people can publish and talk about what they want, is being suppressed. We put out an ad. We wanted to put an ad in the, I'll show it to you this is a newspaper full-page ad. I'm showing it to you there. Full-page ad for USA Today, Washington Post, or New York Times. All three refused to publish this advertisement.
Wow.
We had cash money in advance, Obama deception unmasked, Obama's real father, and the whole advertisement. We're going to put this up on our website soon, but all three of these so-called bastions of American free press, the Washington Post that uncovered Watergate, the New York Times, USA Today, America's national newspaper, suppresses the truth, as does Newsmax, Newsmax.com. We paid for an advertising banner email campaign with Newsmax. They canceled it at the last second. We said, why'd you cancel it? They said, well, we don't want to be seen as conservative. We want to move to the center. We're trying to get the audience from the center. So I told the guy from Washington Post at the press club, I said to him, did you know why Newsweek is not at this press conference? He said, why? I said, well, they're going out of business. They no longer have a magazine, and Drudge Report is #1, and Newsmax is going out of business because Newsmax, for example, would not publish the Monica Lewinsky information.
You mean Newsweek, not Newsmax.
I'm sorry, Newsmax.
Yeah.
Newsweek magazine had the information on Monica Lewinsky, refused to publish it.
Right.
Drudge did publish it. Today, Drudge is #1. Newsweek is out of business.
And that's how a lot of people discovered Drudge, just by him having the cojones to put that information out there, win, lose, or draw, whatever it was, at least he put it out there and let us decide how we feel about it.
Well, that's the very definition of journalism. I mean, it doesn't take, people write me emails and say, you've got a lot of guts. I said, it doesn't take much guts just to tell the truth.
Yeah.
To tell your information. Since when did telling the truth and reporting the news for people to look at and consider, since when did that become so difficult and so hard to do? Well, I can tell you that with USA Today, Washington Post, New York Times, Newsmax, they will not print this information. They won't allow it to be seen by the public. They're engaged in censorship rather than giving information. And I think all those publications are in trouble if they don't allow the news to reach the public.
Well, there was a quote, and this is on a Time magazine, and it's a quote of a CIA director. I can't remember his name right offhand, but he said, anybody in the media of any significance is owned by the CIA. And that just says it right there, and they're protecting their boy, and they're never going to show this stuff. This is something that blows, because the birth certificate is something they could say, well, we could poke holes at this and we could all play these word games and we'll never know the truth because they're never going to open up these records. But what you're uncovering now, it goes way beyond the birth certificate. It really digs into who this man is and who his ideological and biological father are. And it's an amazing film. I've seen it twice already, and each time I get more out of it because you catch those things that you didn't catch the first time, and it just it really blows me away. So what are you guys going to be doing in the future with Dreams from My Real Father?
Well, we're starting to set up some screenings around the country. I'm continuing to talk about it on news and radio as much as possible every day. I'm continuing my investigation. I've got several lines of inquiry still going on that are being released as breaking news items on the website. And we're just going to keep telling the truth and letting people know that Obama should be voted for this time on his merits of who he really is, not on his false story of this Kenyan goat herder, and he's a guy that'll bring people together. It's a very different reality, and the gap between Obama's public narrative and the reality is very, very big. And the news media's job is to tell us the truth so that we know who he is, and I did this job for them. And anyone can see the film, and as I told them, the Pulitzer Prize can be yours.
Yeah. You put it on a silver platter. I mean, it's a slam dunk if somebody publishes this on a mainstream media outlet, because But I think they're definitely afraid to. There would be some hardcore tyranny raining down on whoever does publish this in the mainstream realm. But I got to hand it to you. It is a great film, and I think everybody needs to go to InfoWarsShop.com, get a copy, have your own screening, pass it out to people. You don't necessarily tell people to make copies of it, but how do you feel about them showing it on Access Television? You just want them to contact you?
Yeah, they have to contact us for each market so we can coordinate it to get permission. We're also doing some screenings of our own around the country. We have people hosting screenings, so we coordinate everything from ObamasRealFather.com.
Oh, okay, ObamasRealFather.com. And how big is this getting? How big are the grassroots? How many people are coming to you saying we want to show this? I mean, in your estimation.
We have several hundred requests. A lot of screening events are between 30 and 80 people, it seems like, with a couple around 100. Doing a public screening in a theater, we have a few people arranging those as we speak, but it seems to be a real grassroots thing of small groups of people that will watch it together and then order more DVDs and then go and do another group. It's just amazing the amount of people that are getting in on it because they know that the mainstream media will not report anything negative about Barack Obama. And that is just unjustifiable suppression of the news. And I thank you folks for having me on.
Well, we surely appreciate you having you on. These are like little seeds, that you plant out there. Each one of these little DVDs, and that's the beautiful thing about a DVD. You can just scatter them to the winds. People will take a look at this and go, wait a minute. This guy, you just got to look at the cover. And you go, wow, Barack looks exactly like this other dude. He doesn't even look like Barack Obama the first. And, I mean, it really is an amazing film. So I'd encourage people to go out and get it. Joel, do you have anything else you want to add?
Just please stay tuned to our website and keep checking Infowars.com as well. We're going to have continuing developments and breaking news all the way through the end of the year. And I want to tell everybody how much I appreciate all their emails of support. And just let's keep the grassroots information network going because the mainstream media is nothing but a useless reality show.
Totally agree. Joel Gilbert, thank you very much for coming on the show today. I'll tell you what, this is a seed right here. You plant this, it's going to grow. People are going to see it. People are going to wake up because, a lot of people were duped. A lot of people bought into the narrative, and the mainstream media was just so happy to run with that narrative of him being the son of a Kenyan goat herder. And we now know, I mean, you watch the film, it's all there. You see his mom in these provocative poses on a couch that Frank Marshall Davis is later giving interviews on. You get to see the writings of Frank Marshall Davis. I mean, this man is scary. He wants to take all the money from the middle class and give it basically to the elites while everybody else lives in squalor. That to him is a perfect system because he would be one of the guys, from being a general in this, he would be one of the guys on the top. So he would like nothing more than to see the destruction of the United States as we know it. So get a copy. It's Dreams from My Real Father. It's on InfoWarsShop.com. We've got at least over 1,500 of these left in stock. I just checked with the guys today. So get your copy now. Get it out there. Let's make some change happen for the better in our own political paradigm here. And we got it on sale for $14.95. I don't know what more else to say. This is a seed, and it needs to be planted. So plant it in your DVD. Have some viewing parties. Let's start waking some people up, especially your Democratic friends who try to believe they're good-hearted. They really want to believe that, our first black president's a good guy. But unfortunately, we were sold a bunch of lies. So with that, we're going to sign off for tonight. We'll be back tomorrow. Alex promises he'll be doing the show 3 days this week. So we'll have at least Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Alex Jones in studio taking over the reins for the InfoWars Nightly News. And with that, I'm Rob Dew, your host for tonight, and we'll see you next time.